This is the best value trail bike in the world. But can the cheapest bike still hit jumps, ride chunk, and hit drops like the expensive mountain bikes? Today, we'll find out, and watch to the end because I want your input on a potential high-low season 2. So Bikes Online just released this brand new Polygon Siskiyou T6, a new base model for the T series selling right now for just $12.99. This bike is looking pretty sick, and yeah, I'm thinking about doing high-low season 2 with this thing. And if you remember last time, I used a Polygon Siskiyou D5 and I made the geometry kind of funky, but this time I want to use a legit trail bike. And to be a legit capable trail bike, the bike needs to be able to do all of these things, plus the build itself needs a dropper post, boost through axle front and rear, a clutch derailleur, hydraulic brakes, and air sprung suspension. Most of the time with budget bikes, you can expect something funky like a crappy coil fork or just something like that. But this bike, it's legit. It checks all of those boxes and can be easily upgraded. It's a trail bike with 140 millimeters front travel and 135 rear. Bikes Online sends these bikes with the gears all tuned up, ready to ride. But I'm gonna do a few things before I test this bike that will make a huge difference, starting with the pedals. So most new bikes come with these plastic pedals. You can ride it, but once you really start pushing it on the trail, you're gonna want some more grip. So I picked up these Entity alloy pedals from Bikes Online, or they have a composite option a little bit cheaper. Both would be a mega upgrade. Next, let's take out the tubes. And going tubeless, in my opinion, is an absolute must. And with budget bikes, they usually have wire bead tires, meaning they're not tubeless compatible. All right, so the tires are tubeless ready and the rims are pre-taped. Man, I love when that happens. I picked up these valves and the sealant from Bikes Online, my first time using Muck Off, and the tires are pretty thick, maybe even enduro casing, and the rims are 35 millimeters internal width. It's pretty impressive. Usually I use my air compressor for this, but I decided to use my floor pump and it seated first try. Now it's time to dial in the suspension, and to do this, we're gonna need a shock pump. And I got this Entity branded digital shock pump from Bikes Online, and after fiddling with it for a little bit, we are good to go shred. But before I go ride, I've been dealing with vision issues on the trail, and going in and out of shaded areas just really messes with my eyes, and sometimes I feel like I can't even see the trail. Well, SportRx last month reached out to me to sponsor this video, and they sent me 2 pairs of prescription sports glasses. I did a video call with the SportRx optician and explained my vision issue. Well, TJ told me that they have new lens technologies. This is an Oakley frame with Prism low light lens. And he said that they're better than the clear lenses that I've been using, and that they're perfect for me for going in and out of the shade, and it helps boost contrast. And these lenses may look purple to you on camera, but for me, I can still see clear, and on the trail, it really takes the edge off the bright sunlight. It's pretty game changing. Then I got this pair, the SportRx Olsen frame with a lens called Hero Dirt. And this is a transition lens for going in and out of shade, so the tint will automatically adjust, and this is made specifically for mountain biking. I'd say that this lens is a little bit darker than this one, but overall, I can see again while riding, and I am blown away by these glasses. And if you want to check out Sport RX for yourself, I'll have a link in the description. But now it's time to go ride. Man, it's been so long since I rode a trail bike. I think almost like a year. But for this bike being only $12.99, I think we're actually seeing bike prices come down. When I got my first full suspension bike, it was a Vetus in 2021, and I paid $15.99. And I think this bike just has better parts. Oddly enough, I don't mind RockShox Recon forks. I think they work well. And this has a Deore drivetrain, one of the most rock solid workhorse drivetrains. And if I was doing budget upgrades, I would definitely pick those two parts. But let's see how this bike rides. It is a little bit heavy because of those big old beefy tires. All right, first run, little flow trail. Oh, it's windy. Wow, pretty comfortable in the air. Whoa. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but that little tiny run there, I already feel like I'm at home on this bike. And you know, I was on that short travel trail bike, the Mini Duro, I should say. And you know, that bike was really snappy and peppy, but this feels like a true trail bike. And maybe I kind of like the tires. They like kind of soften everything up. But let's go hit another jump trail, a little bit bigger this time, so I'll have to take it easy. All right, here it goes. Definitely rolls a little bit slower with the tires. Yeah. Oh. I feel so at home on this bike. See if I can do this. Yeah. Well, 2 runs down and I already feel like so at home with this bike, and usually it takes me a little bit longer to set up the suspension, and I was worried with that cheap rear shock. I even brought the shock pump because I was like, man, it's gonna take me like a day or two to dial this bike in. But I mean, so far so good. But the real test is right now. I'm gonna go ride some chunk, and that's really gonna show me if the bike is set up correctly or not. All right, here we go. Oh, the brakes are not bed in yet. Well, that was a pretty rough ride, and I think my fork rebound is a little bit too fast. My bars kept getting pushed up towards me a little bit when I was trying to go downhill. So I'm gonna soften it up by like a click. But the rear end felt really good, and I really should have bedded in my brakes properly before doing this, but I'll be all right. But I'm gonna do another run here to test out the changes before I can give this bike my seal of approval. Brake, 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 brake. Oh yeah, they're coming to life now. So this bike climbs very well, really great riding position, but I gotta mention the Deore cassette in the back only goes up to 42 teeth. And if you were to upgrade that to say like a 51, well, you would need a new derailleur also. So if you have no clue what that just meant, well, don't worry about it. It'll make you a stronger rider, let's put it that way. But if you do want a wider range,
well, it might be worth checking out the T7, the T8, or even the T9. All right, here it goes, part 2. Hit the jump this time. Whoa! Didn't have enough speed. Whoa. Yeah. Oh yeah, man, that was pretty chunky, but this bike is capable, and I really wonder how it's gonna do on Drop the Hammer. All right, here it is, Drop the Hammer. This is a 12-foot drop. Well, I've been testing a lot of bikes lately, and sometimes I have to draw the line. Like, I took the gravel bike out here to hit this, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. But with this T6, I think it's going pretty good. I'm vibing with it. So let's go ahead and give this a go. All right, here it goes. Been a while. Yeah. Whoa. Yeah, man. Heck yeah, dude. This bike is good to go. I can put my seal of approval on it. It is a legit trail bike, and it's gonna be the official bike of Hilo Season 2.